Derby than Bowden Road. Duval, 52nd Players Championship. You wouldn't know that there was just awful weather earlier today if you peek your head outside. The James Gladstone press conference via Zoom, always very entertaining. And Florida State, a 17.5-point underdog, coming up in an hour and some change against Duke. I mean, what more could you ask for? Oh, you want more? How does NBA hoops sound? How does the NHL sound? How does college basketball in the tournament sound? How does the baseball classic sound? More free agency sound. It is just a phenomenal time of year, and just blessed to be here with you over the next couple of hours. All right, the Players Championship, a lot on the line. $25 million is the purse. A lot of chatter again today about the fifth major. We'll make our way towards that another day. There's just too much to do. We know that the winner gets $4.5 million. Right now, well, Lee Hodges, moments ago, with a birdie on 18. He birdied 16 and 18 to go 5 under in a 67 today to tie Maverick McNeely, who really had to go up and down and all around with the delay. The morning began with just awful winds, 40-mile-per-hour winds, gusts of winds coming from the north, which I heard several times today, both on radio and television, is the worst wind, directionally speaking. Then you had a delay at 12:09. It was a short delay, all right? It only lasted 21 minutes. I mean, they teed off again at 12:31, so it's really kind of out of the ordinary. Typically, and we've seen, God knows, whether it's the Daytona 500 in February or the Players' Championship here in March, it seems like almost every single year you're going to have a rain delay. And I know that because I used to come back from Chicago year after year after year after year. I actually had my bosses fooled that I knew something about NASCAR just to get the trip. And it felt like it rained all the time. And of course, the players, whether it's March, May, March, the way they've moved it around, you never really know. But in the case of Maverick McNeely, again, it's only a 21-minute delay. So it's not one of those typical situations where guys get back out, they stretch, they go to the range, they hit balls. They just continue with play. As a matter of fact, a lot of golfers stayed right out at the hole, whether it be, fairways or finding, a place to get some cover during that very small in the amount of time passing of the showers that we did have earlier today. So for Maverick McNeely, he birdies 5 out of his first 12 holes and just basically hangs on and plays par golf the rest of the way through. And, this guy's had an interesting career. He's 30. He's out of Stanford. He's only won once in his career, and he did so in Georgia. I believe it was in St. Simons? I think it was either Sea Island or St. Simons. It was one of the two. I think it's the former and not the latter. But, he's got one career win, does McNeely. But you look at what he's done around here, okay? He did not make the cut a year ago, didn't get to the weekend, yet you go back to 2024, he finished 9th overall at 13 under. He was 60th overall in 2023, 46th overall in 2022, and did not make the cut in 2021. So he's been up and down, and just basically done it all. And seems like he's a real likable guy out of Stanford. We'll see if that can hold. Obviously, there is a ton of golf left. And when I look at things right now, this is unofficial. I have exactly 35 golfers in red figures. So 35 golfers at 1 under par or better, and there are still several on the course. So we'll see how the scores are coming in, whether it's on hole number 9 or if it is on hole number 18. Once again, an ugly first round for the best player in the world in Scottie Scheffler. We've talked about that really week after week during the West Coast swing. And, what he's done so far, playing one of the two events, played last week at Bay Hill, but he just struggles on Thursday. And if you look at what he's been able to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I mean, that's much better than average, but he just gets off on the wrong foot, if you will. Same deal today. 4 birdies, 4 bogeys, and even par 72 for Scotty Scheffler, and he's still well within striking distance. I mean, right now he's 5 off the leaderboard. Again, combination of both Lee Hodges, who rolled in a birdie moments ago to get to -5, and Maverick McNeely, who's been in the clubhouse now for several hours at 5 under. But it just feels like Scheffler is missing something. And, he even went out in the rain and continued to hit balls on the practice range. I think a lot of guys, after a 4 birdie, 4 bogey performance, the old school guys, they would have gone to the 19th hole and they would have started drinking some bourbon and they would talk about their game. We do understand that things have completely changed in this sport and they're very athletic. A lot of guys will go to the weight room. A lot of guys will, go get worked on, whether it's, with their masseur, if you will, or, work on things, technically speaking. He just went out and grinded and grinded and grinded. I'm told out on the range for quite some time today. So still really in it, no doubt, but a lot of work to do. And, we'll see what he's able to put together come Friday's round. Colin Morikawa played 2 holes. He didn't even complete his second hole, which was number 11. He went off on the back, removes himself from the tournament with a back. So that's a big blow. He was top 6, top 7 odds-wise. A lot of people had him handpicked to win this year's Players' Championship. That's not going to happen. Hey, how about Justin Thomas? I mean, this guy went 79-79 last week at Arnold Palmer's Invitational, right? He hadn't played golf since last September. And he went through surgery. He's been very rusty. This guy went 79 last Thursday, 79 last Friday. Today, a 4 under 68. And it looked like it was going to get dangerous for Thomas with the bogeys on 17 and 18 after 3 consecutive birdies. He had a hat trick on 10, 11, and 12. Clean card coming in. Birdies on 5, 6, and 9. So for Justin Thomas today, 6 birdies, 2 bogeys, and he is all of a sudden in really good shape at -468. Okay, last year's champion, Rory McIlroy. He said yesterday that it was basically going to be a game time decision. It was going to be hour to hour as to whether or not he could fight off the bad back. And this isn't Rory's fault. This is the people who cover the sport of golf. But I've listened all day on television. When I haven't been listening on television, I've been listening to the PGA Tour Network. They can't mention McIlroy without it making at least some sort of an excuse about the back. And has he earned it? I guess. I mean, he won here a year ago. Obviously, he won a major again a year ago. But folks, he has been all over the place today. Okay, number 4, which is maybe my favorite hole on the golf course. He had a 2-iron, and he ripped it so far left. And if you know where it is left, if it's a far left pin placement, and today was a far right pin placement, if you're over there by those mounds, that ends up being a blind spot and a very difficult shot. Well, he hit it so far past the cart path, I thought it was actually going to roll close to the, the side of the actual driving range. And I got to double check. I don't think they call it the driving range at Sawgrass. I think that's below them. I think there's actually another term. I mean, just saying you're going to the driving range is almost offensive. Listen, I've been doing this for 35 years. I know the cancel culture is out there, and I know that one of these days I'm probably going to get popped, but I would hate for it to be because I called where they practice the driving range. Okay? Anyway. he got out of that and was able to save a bogey, but just a tremendous shot. And then again, he's looking at double bogeys, but got out of the sand on number 5. But he's not hitting the ball the way that he normally does off the tee. 3 bogeys, 1 birdie. He is currently, let's see, on number 15. So he's got 4 holes to go. He's +2 so far. But if you've really watched him play today, this score could be a whole heck of a lot worse. It really could. And, we'll keep you updated on everything that is playing. That tree now on number 6 was so daunting from the television angle, if you will. It's only 28 feet high. And when you watch it from behind the tee where the cameras are, it feels like everyone who is teeing off is going to hit that limb. And when they take it to a side angle, all right, there's a little bit more room to breathe, if you will. But, that is an addition now that is something that hasn't always been the case at the Players. And they brought back that tree, and we wonder if it'll have an effect because they're not able to do with their driver what they want to do. Now, most are still using the driver or perhaps a mini driver, but if you look at where the placement of the tee is, it's not ordinary. The tee is a lot lower into the ground. Therefore, they're trying to do their best to keep the ball and not allow it to get towards immediate flight the way that these PGA Tour golfers are able to get it. And that has totally been the opposite so far today. Toughest hole had been 14 all morning, all afternoon. That has just changed. It is now 18 is the toughest hole. And both 14 and 18 are basically at this particular point playing about a half shot over par. I don't have updated numbers, but at one point when 77 golfers had gone through 18, only 14 of the 77 actually made the green in regulation. Think about that. These are the best golfers on this planet. And 14 of 77 were on the green in 2. That is amazing. And those numbers have changed. I'll hopefully be able to get an update on that because I know you're dying to hear it, and I'll get it out to you. All right, on the other side, let's bring in James Gladstone. Let's give you the very latest on his developments today as he met with the local media. Thought it was a really good conversation, and he put to bed really some bogus rumors, including on Brian Thomas Jr., right? He's not going anywhere. They haven't actively had any conversations of substance about a trade for Brian Thomas Jr. to any other team. And his quote was brilliant. And I do quote James Gladstone. "We have no interest in disrupting the momentum." Think about that for a minute. The momentum, off season. Apparently this thing is headed in the right direction. I mean, he's the GM. He doesn't have to say that, right? Some of you may be, maybe he's doing this to spark up more interest, to create, whatever. It was a gamemanship, maybe. I don't think so, though. Not at all. I think he was genuine on his comments today with Brian Thomas Jr. So, hey, we'll come back. We'll get into that as well. All right. If you're at the golf course today, hopefully you're able to see everything that was taking place. Or if you're still out there, hopefully you're enjoying yourself. But you got to ask yourself, how are the eyes? It's amazing how we always put off getting our eyes checked. Why is that? Any other part of our body, if something's up, if something is not right, you immediately seek help. You should do the same thing when it comes to your eyes, okay? Just to get the care that they deserve, and in this case, what you deserve, is something that you should do. Shmunez Vision, 37 years of experience, not only when it comes to analyzing what is going on with your eyesight, okay, but the option of laser eye surgery, okay? 37 years. Dr. Neo Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, Dr. John Hunt. If it's a more serious situation, refractive surgery, cataract, anything like that, again, you want to go where not only is there experience with your doctors, but you're also with the same people who take you through the eye examination, will answer each and every one of your questions, and you're going to have many, and then actually perform the surgery. Check them out online, Shmunez Vision. You can also go to Instagram and get the very latest as well at Shmunez Vision. All right, look who's here. JJ on the other side. Bring him in on the other side of our first break, and he's with us for our very first hour, and we got a lot to do. What a day in Duval. This show is called Into the Night.
From the opening tee shot to the final putt on 18, track your favorite golfers and get live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teamed up by
Capital Glass and Shower Doors,
Taco Lou,
and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
When my wrist pain was acting up and I needed help, I took Dan Hickens' advice and headed over to see the experts at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. This is Stuart Moore with the PGA Tour. I highly recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whenever you have a need, they took great care of me. They'll take great care of you.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. The next time you need orthopedic care, you can rely on our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street-legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every cart gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit DynamicDrivesDesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Hey, Hicken here. Springing forward feels better on freshly cleaned carpets and floors. Let Zero Res remove lingering grime and prepare your home for the brighter days ahead. Check out all of the raging customer reviews online. 4.9 Google rating. This month, $50 per room of carpet clean. Let's take 25% off hard floor cleaning. Hardwood tile LVP when you ask for the 1010XL special. Call 904-287-5727 or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com. Spell it forward or backward. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Royal Pest Services, a local company you can trust. Royal Pest is a certified installer of tap insulation, which stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Reduce that electric bill by adding pest protection. It's that easy. Online at royalpestservices.com.
For the ultimate and unique gift ideas, visit CuneFlowers.com. JJ LaSelva here, and no matter what the reason, Cune Flowers has it all. Sending flowers was never so easy. Online, on the phone, or in the showroom, Cune Flowers hits a grand slam home run every time.
Hey, gang, Prosser here for my friends Chad and Sandy. What are your concerns? What struggles do you anticipate when it comes time to sell your home? What is it that bothers you? What's keeping you from getting max money as quickly as possible? Well, I don't know what those reasons are because I know they're all silly. Because Chad and Sandy have one down-to-the-line guarantee. Your home sold guaranteed, or they will buy it. It'll be at a price and a rate that you agree upon beforehand. So if you need to sell now, fast, easy, stress-free, and you need max price, then you need Chad and Sandy. The government's making moves intended to push mortgage rates lower. The last time rates dropped, we saw a selling and buying frenzy. Now's the time to prepare. It's time to call Chad and Sandy. Darcy in San Jose did. I wanted to move to a more walkable, vibrant area. Within 3 days of working with Chad and Sandy's team, I found the perfect home. They do it stress-free with a guarantee. Go to ChadandSandy.com or call 414-6200. That's ChadandSandy.com.
All right, Jackson, let's talk about it. Spring cleaning feels great until your drains remind you what they've been holding on to all winter. If your sink's burping, your shower's backing up, or your toilet's hesitating like it's reading a blitz, it's time to call in the pros. Call Duck Duck Rooter. During their spring drain cleaning promotion, get your drains cleaned plus a free camera inspection for just $129. Must have outside clean out, honest pricing, proven experience, no fourth quarter surprises. When you're stuck, call the Duck. That's 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right as we were headed towards a break, we had breaking news. Sepp Straka. And would you say it was a eagle on the par 5 16?
Exactly. He chipped in from just off the green, and now he is tied for the lead at 500. A Georgia Bulldog from Austria.
It's not the hardest 3 holes closing in golf, but it is the most adventurous final 3 holes in golf because you have such a wonderful opportunity to score on 16. Then if you can deal with the intimidation and the wind on 17, get out of there with a par. And then again, it seems to be the case year after year, 18 plays as the most difficult golf hole over at the stadium course. Pretty amazing stuff. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just love that I came back from a great vacation, and it's Players Week. It's like the perfect time to come back. It's my favorite week in Jacksonville every single year.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of our colleagues took this week off, and I'm like,
dude,
why?
I was just thinking that. Chris, too, I'm like, dude, dumb.
Yeah, it's like, listen, if...
Even next week, I don't like to take off because I like talking about what happened in the Players.
There's no doubt. Yeah, and it's, if there's ever a slow time in this business, you probably ought to check yourself out, okay? Because you can't show up like there's nothing to talk about. But admittedly, there are some weeks that there's just much more. It's like a buffet compared to a single entree. And in this case, I mean, with free agency, the Players, conference tournaments going on, the baseball classic, hockey heating up, the NBA, 83 points by Bam 2 nights ago. Yeah. I mean, it's just insane.
And usually the Jags are like, we're at the Players, doing the shows at the Players, but because of free agency, we're talking 90% Jags. But because they've really been so not making many moves in free agency, we've been able to focus a lot more on the Players this year.
So Sepp Straka now is one of 3 in at 5 under. Straka's got a couple of holes to play. He's making his way right now to the par 3 17th. Earlier this morning, Maverick McNeely, a 5 under 67. Lee Hodges, probably about, 20, 25 minutes ago, rolled in a putt on 18 to get to 5 under and shoot a 67 today as well. All right, let's spend a couple of minutes on the James Gladstone presser because I took part on this today via the Jaguars public relations and Zoom, and it was I thought very informative, and I think he put out a few fires. Okay, let's start with Brian Thomas Jr. Now it seems like when I stereotype the media, whether it's national or local, for the most part, it would be something negative that happened. And sometimes I like to have fun with that at my own expense and, colleagues and others' expense with no real intent for anything that significant. The local media told you, okay, man and woman, Brian Thomas Jr. is not going anywhere. All right? There were crazy rumors that were floating on the mean streets of Twitter and everything else, but check who put that crap out there, all right? And again, I think I'm speaking for this media as a whole. Maybe there was 1 or 2 who said it could happen. I'm not aware of it, but today it was put away for good by James Gladstone, just saying that there's been no real conversations. There's been no real trade offer. And, I mentioned it at the top, but it deserves to be mentioned again. James Gladstone coming out today saying, we have no interest in disrupting the momentum on what's going on right now behind the scenes for us on Brian Thomas Jr., to me, is such a really defining quote. JJ, can you imagine Trent Baalke or Gene Smith or Dave Caldwell or Shaq Harris, any one of the former general managers saying, when asked about Brian Thomas, quote, we have no intent on disrupting the momentum?
Not in that way. I mean, I could definitely see Balky like stumbling his way through something similar to that. But no, he's got a good flow when it comes to what he has to say. James Gladstone, that is.
I enjoy him, and I know he's on our radio station for in place of the coaches show, and him and Baselli do get on there. But I mean, whenever this guy speaks, he takes you to places that frankly I haven't been to, and I've been around for a little bit.
He seems like he's always in control of everything, very calm, like the calmest guy in the room, the coolest headed guy in the room. Like, nothing's going to bother me. I got everything figured out.
Let me find what he said earlier again today that I thought was, he was talking about Chris Rodriguez, and we learned a ton about Chris Rodriguez Jr. yesterday. I think for the most part, unless you are a deep, passionate fantasy league football player, you probably didn't know a lot about Chris Rodriguez. Admittedly, I did not know.
Or a Gator fan, because he ran it all over you guys a couple times.
We mentioned that last night, no doubt. Yeah, I had
That's
a huge game.
I didn't even know he was in the league, honestly. I just knew him from Kentucky.
But James Gladstone goes on and says, when talking about Chris Rodriguez, he says the superpowers that he taps into is how physical he is and the ability to run the football, including inside. Okay. I never would have dreamed in 1,000,000 years when defining Chris Rodriguez that the term superpowers would be mentioned. And, just the way that he says it, it's like, man, and the only thing that's comparable to him to me, and this is going back 30 years, 30 plus years. And he's not angry. He's not looking down on you the way that Phil Jackson at times did. But Phil Jackson answered a lot of questions where you just kind of looked at him and you were like, Phil, did you just spend 45 minutes with the Grateful Dead and one of their bootlegs behind a closed door in your office before meeting with the press?
He tried to be so zen.
Right. And Gladstone's not trying to be zen, but he's got a little bit of that in him.
That's a great example.
With his answers.
That's a great comparison. I never thought about that. But yeah.
But think about how long I have to go back to find Phil Jackson. We're talking about more than 30 years.
And Phil would give answers that not necessarily had anything to do with the question you asked sometimes.
Correct.
You never really get that from Gladstone. He's going to answer your question.
And Phil could be moody.
Yeah.
I mean, again, and Phil had to do this almost daily. He had to answer questions, and then he had to obviously speak after every game, and you have 82, and, he was part of 6 rings, then went over to L.A. I mean, the guy, it was amazing what he was able to do. I'll never forget the interview I did with Red Auerbach, which was just legendary when I asked him about Phil, and Red Auerbach's like, wow, Phil picks his job. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, he went where there's incredible talent. He picks his job. I think a lot of people would have loved to have seen what Phil Jackson really could have done if he went back to New York and coached the Knicks. And that's one of the, many things we really never got to see in sports, including number one for me is we never got to see Hagler Leonard Jr., number 2. But anyway, I don't want to misrepresent here. This is a compliment to Gladstone. And, JJ, you make a good point here. He doesn't take you down different lanes and different avenues. He does answer the question.
Not answer it by, filibustering.
Yeah, Phil Jackson in the middle of it would turn into Bill Walton. And then, in the middle of it, he turned into Walter Cronkite. I mean, Phil Jackson, you never knew where he was going to take you. But to me, it was always a can't miss. A lot of these press conferences, they're canned. They're coach speak. You know what's coming. And anyway, so much more, and we'll get to that coming up on Gladstone. But just to really give you the thumbnails, that was the big thing on Brian Thomas Jr. Said no real conversations again on Max Crosby.
Well, hold on. Were you surprised that he said that they hadn't gotten any trade offers whatsoever for Brian Thomas Jr.? Do you believe that? Or is it just like, okay, I guess it's on the team with the player to make the proposals?
Well, he said
I was a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, his word. He said a real offer.
Okay.
So
maybe just like, I'll call you and we're floating things around.
I imagine the phone rang and they're like, "What?" But he's talking. I don't know this, but I'm guessing that when he says a real offer, it meant
something more concrete.
Yeah, we're offering this and we're offering this. It was just more of a general feel out type of conversation.
Okay.
I totally believe that he has had some of those.
Okay.
He also said that they came from fraudulent claims, which is just the best. That, people are planting stories and there's nothing to it. But to Brian Thomas Jr., he, engaged with his reps. They monitored everything. They knew the market was going to pay him.
Travis Etienne.
Yes, Travis Etienne. And, they wish him the best. Compensatory picks. Certainly talked a lot about that. How, in a way, they're already putting together draft capital for next year. And I got to take this break because I'm overdue. All right. And I'll tell you more about Gladstone on the other side, including the question that I did ask him. And I'm also going to tell you about the good folks over at the Alexander Law Practice. But let's get caught up because we got a lot to do. 3 men tied atop the board, Straka, McNeely, and Hodges, as the first round continues at the Players' Championship.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for big number 1 Duval Ford. It's truck time in Jacksonville, and all month long, you can drive home a brand new 2025 F-150 with no money down, no payments for 90 days, and 0% interest for 60 months. That's right, a new F-150 with 0 down and 0% for 60 months. See all the deals now at DuvalFord.com or just stop by big number 1 Duval Ford, 1616 Cassett Avenue today. It's truck time at big number 1 Duval Ford.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Catch the sights and sounds of the great outdoors from anywhere in the city. Go hunting and fishing with Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Favor, and Captain Kirk Walls on the Nimnit Outdoors Show every Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Leon Serza here, your lemon pepper guy. You know Wingstop always delivers. And I'm not talking about their cook-to-order, hand-sauced and tossed chicken sandwich in your choice of 12 mouth-watering flavors. I'm not talking about the house-made ranch. So good, nobody will blame you if you double dip. I'm talking about Wingstop that delivers straight to your door. And did you know they're open until 1 a.m.? So visit wingstop.com or use the app to get flavors delivered right to your door late night only at Wingstop.
Can't stop. Wingstop.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go.
Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
Jacksonville is the flip side of Florida. And inside the flip side, the action never stops. If you're tired of hearing about the best games after the final whistle, don't get left on the sidelines. Whether it's a unique sporting event you've never seen, a weekend with the family, or a winning date night, Visit Jacksonville is your ultimate playbook. Get in the game. Head to visitjacksonville.com/locals or download the Visit Jax app today and see everything coming in 2026. Jacksonville. Experience the flip side.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact, didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com. Their rapid equity loan program can get you $100,000, $200,000, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
All right, Sepp Straka has played 17 now, a par on 17, so he is at 5 under with a hole to play. In the clubhouse, he's been there for quite some time, Maverick McNeely and Lee Hodges as well. Birdies on 16 and 18 coming in. He is at 5 under. And I see now that Sahith Tagala is at 5 under with a hole to play. So taking advantage now, both Tagala and Straka, and I guess we could put Hodges in there as well because he did it about 30 minutes ago, of the much calmer weather and lack of wind after just a incredible day weather-wise. All right, Rick Shoemaker joins us here whenever we talk golf, and of course he is the owner and operator of the Cimarron Golf Club on 210, and he joins us as we discuss the first round at the Players. Rick, what a crazy day.
Yeah, absolutely. A little weather delay, but again, these guys just posting some numbers, so nothing surprising me except for Justin after 279 down in Bay Hill, and he shoots 4 under with 2 bogeys to finish the round, so that was quite a surprise.
Yeah, how about that with Justin Thomas? I mean, 79s, he hasn't played since September, but for him to put that together, I mean, that's an 11-stroke difference between what he did Thursday, Friday, and what he posted this afternoon.
Yeah, again, on that golf course, again, it tells you what, how finite it is for these guys. And, he found something, and, he's right there, and he might be there Sunday.
How much does it change within a round when the winds are going to be crazy? They were the way they were this morning. I mean, 40-mile-an-hour winds and at times blowing from the north. Rick, the first event I ever covered here at the Players Championship was in 1997 with Steve Elkington, who was a very good iron player. And we've talked a lot about irons for this event. And he also really hit the ball lower than a lot of guys on the PGA Tour. So just, talk about adapting to things when you have the wind as significant as it was.
Yeah, look, again, those players, a lot of them are mechanical now, so the older players tend to be able to flight that ball and play through conditions differently. Obviously, the foreign players, the English players, European-based, they've learned to play in the wind, so it's a big deal. Again, but the lower you're hitting it at Sawgrass, the harder it is to hold the green. So that's the dynamic that all these players are facing, right? When the wind blows, what do you do? And ultimately, it's coming down to iron play. You look at the par threes, I think all 4 of them are in the top 7 most difficult holes. I think I just was looking at the stats. Number 17 is playing the hardest today.
Yeah.
Surprising, but, just because of that wind initially, I guess.
Yeah, 17's playing hard, 18's playing hard, 14's playing hard. So, those 3 on the back 9 have been certainly problematic. At last look, I had 13 water balls on 17. I'm sure that has increased. It's now up to 17. I remember asking you about this last year and years prior when you don't have huge names among the leaders after only 18 holes. What do you make of a Maverick McNeely, Lee Hodges? I mean, McNeely a couple of years ago had a ninth place finish, finished 13 under. Then last year he didn't make the cut. So, what are your thoughts? A lot of golf to play, but certainly good rounds.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, all these guys are so talented. From Korn Ferry up, can post some numbers. Again, it's always going to be about 4 days, consistency, and the intangible of how they handle the pressure. Again, we talked about Lowry a couple weeks ago, and you got to handle the pressure. And, ultimately that's what's going to come down to. Thursday is a pretty benign day, right? Friday, a little bit of pressure around the neck. Collar gets tighter trying to make a cut. But you start getting Saturday afternoon and Sunday, it's a full-blown tuxedo that you're wearing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And as we talk with Rick Shoemaker, first round of the Players' Championship does continue after a 21-minute rain delay that did take place at 12:09 earlier this afternoon. Rick, it seems like a lot of my questions to you at times are pointed towards how the golf course is not playing as difficult as it could. You just mentioned 17 and what that was like today with the wind. Well, the last numbers I had, and they've changed now, but about an hour ago, I had 77 golfers had gone through 18. Only 14 of those 77 had hit the green in regulation. What do you make of 18 consistently year after year after year being, if not the most difficult hole, certainly one of the top 2 most difficult holes on this golf course?
No, I mean, my gosh, they're when I played it, casually, we're playing the forward tee 30 yards up. So those guys, they're trying to hit it 290, 280, 290, and they're in between driver, 3 woods, and they're, driving irons. Those oaks on the right come out, and all it takes is a guy bailing out, and suddenly you're in that right edge rough. You're trying to go up under an oak or around an oak, and you're trying to hold a green that's difficult. I'm just surprised more guys don't lay back a little bit. Yes, you'd be hitting, for them, 200 yards in, but 200 yards in nowadays, what is that, 7 irons for some of these guys, 8 irons?
Yeah.
But but that's the conundrum. You get on that tee and you look out, and that water just makes them pause. And before you know it, a little shift to the right, and that ball's sitting under those oaks and to the right. So it's a mind game. It's always going to be a mind game. Trust, confidence, and swing the club. But even those guys at that level are challenged mentally by it.
All right, let's wrap it up with a couple of guys. And Rory's still got some holes to play here, but he's been all over the place off the tee. It makes you wonder, how bad is the back? And then Scotty Scheffler. And every time we discuss this, we get into the fact that he does not play his best golf on Thursday. 4 birdies today, 4 bogeys. What do you make of these two getting ready for their Friday rounds?
I think Scheffler's right there. Even par, 5 shots back. All it takes is a little, 66, 67, 68. He's suddenly 2-3 shots back at the most. So not worried about them. Him at even par, I think he's in a good place. He had his up and down round today, 3 or 4 bogeys and 3 or 4 birdies. Rory, that's a back injury. Only he knows, but I did not get to see him swing today, but sounds like he's very tentative, and to be tentative swinging on that golf course is a tough road to hoe, frankly.
Yeah, no doubt. +2 through 16. He's got 17 and 18 to play. We'll see. His score could be a heck of a lot worse. He's really gotten himself out of significant trouble. All right, Rick, we'll talk tomorrow. What's going on? What do you have planned here tonight and as well throughout the weekend over at Cimarron Golf Club?
Well, the party continues. Again, we got live music tonight. Barefoot Reggie playing out on the patio. Incredible sunset unfolding on the back. Golfers are finishing. Again, it's been a great week thus far. We got some full days the next 2 or 3 days. Again, people just enjoying this great game of golf, watching the players, and just enjoying this incredible place we all get to call home, North Florida.
No doubt about it. Rick, always a lot of fun. We'll talk tomorrow night. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
There he goes, Rick Shoemaker, owner and operator of Cimarron Golf Club, the wild one. I've always been a little bit confused by this, but you realize that this week, with the players being sold out, that for golf courses in this area, it is also like their busiest time of year?
It's because I guess you watch them on TV and you get that itch. You're like, I got to get out there. And there's probably a lot of people from out of town that come in looking for a round or two.
Yeah. And they figured, tickets are sold out or it's going to cost a ton of money to go watch golf. Why not just get out there and play yourself? And that can be the deal right now. It's Cimarron Golf Club right there on 210. All right, tonight's show is brought to you by the Alexander Law Practice. Rick Alexander has been AV rated by Martindale Hubble going all the way back to 2004. It's the gold standard for, any lawyer. And less than 10% are actually recognized for this in the peer review ratings. Now, for Rick Alexander, it's simple. He's old school. He takes on a much smaller client base because he's hands-on. He individually works with each and every one of you if you have been personally injured in a car accident, okay? It's as simple as going to the website, Alexander Law Practice. You can also place a call at 400-6600. You're going to get immediate callback. You're going to have to deal with this. How does this sound? No retainer fee, no consultation fee, no charge for anything. You're never going to come out of pocket. What is going to happen is you're going to explain what went on. Your car may be totaled. You may be physically injured. Regardless of what it is, you tell Rick Alexander. He puts together the perfect plan for you and ends up being very prosperous. Again, no consultation fee, no retainer fee. You're never coming out of pocket. Go to Alexander Law Practice to get all of the details. All right, we got much more to do as we head towards 10 minutes of 7 o'clock. And, of course, we got another hour to dive into as well. Everything on the Players 4 now at 5 under par. Plus, much more coming up after James Gladstone, the Jaguars general manager, spoke to the local media earlier in the afternoon.
Bringing you Jaguars players, coaches, and breaking news year-round.
We got to go back to our fundamentals.
On the home of the Jaguars.
Work on three, 1, 2, 3.
1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Looking for golf that doesn't feel like golf? Welcome to Pine Royale, Callahan's new golf entertainment destination. Play a 9-hole par 3 course, compete in Trackman-powered driving bays, and get ready for all-new 18-hole mini golf coming soon. As the sun goes down, the course lights up. Add in great food, a full bar, and space to hang with the whole crew, and suddenly golf feels a whole lot more social. Search Pine Royale Callahan and come play today.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Transform your backyard with CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Fire pits, pergolas, screen enclosures, and outdoor kitchens. CSS handles the entire project from start to finish. You dream it, they can build it. Visit CSSOutdoor.com.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Ahead, we build platforms for digital business. We help create your platform for digital business by weaving together advances in cloud infrastructure, intelligent operations, and modern applications. Digital business is comprised of 5 pillars. We call them imperatives because they're a must-have, not a nice-to-have. We enterprise cloud, integrated security, scaled DevOps, intelligent operations, and relentless automation. Need help with digital transformation? Ahead. Learn, grow, achieve.
Discover downtown Jacksonville's newest go-to spot. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville brings you 2 floors of over 80 self-pour craft beers, wines and cocktails, plus live sports, live music, and private event space. And right next door, Pizza Dynamo fires up made-to-order pizzas, slices and calzones, packed with bold flavor. Pair a pint with a fresh pie at Pizza Dynamo and Pour Tap Room, downtown at Laura and Forsyth.
This is Frank Frangie. Over the past 11 years, the weight loss industry has seen it all. New medications, fad diets, sculpting. Yet Awaken 180 still stands alone as the proven solution for lasting weight loss. Results at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Crazy day so far at the Players. Austin Smotherman now at 5 under, and he's still got 4 holes to go. So he is your on-the-course leader along with Sahith Tagala. Tagala on 18. The other 3 are done with their round.
Unfortunately for Thigala, real quick, he's in the trouble right now, so he might not actually get in
on
with
18.
The lead, yeah,
I think he's playing with Jordan Spieth. I see that he hit it in the water off the tee.
So did Lowry.
A lot of guys have been
on 18.
They were talking earlier today how Lowry's the best bad weather player on tour because of where he's from.
Makes
obviously,
sense.
Playing in Ireland with the very difficult weather, Shane Lowry. But boy, yeah, all of a sudden, I mean, 3 of these guys, a little bit obscure. Austin Smotherman, Lee Hodges, Maverick McNeely. Again, McNeely played well out there 2 years ago. Absolutely. He
Tied
had
for
it,
ninth.
Had it at 13 under at one point. I think
Now,
a lot of
Smotherman has 0 wins. I just had to look. He's got like 3 professional wins all on the Korn Ferry Tour.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have 1 career win by McNeely.
Right.
Smotherman's actually older than McNeely. He's older than Hodges. He's 31. He'll be 32 in May. Went to SMU. And 1 bogey sandwiched around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birdies. But again, he's got 4 holes to go. So we'll keep you updated on Austin Smotherman. So very interesting leaderboard. Let's see. At last look, there were 35 golfers that I had unofficially at 1 under par or better. Well, just to give you an indication of what's happening now with the much calmer wind. I mean, virtually no wind on some holes. Again, I'm watching from the studio. I'm not out there, but I'm looking at flags right now. They're not even blowing. Pin flags. I have 42 golfers at under par, and then a whole bunch at even par, including last week's runner-up in Daniel Berger. And right behind him is another Seminole, in Brooks Koepka, who in his 4th tournament of the year, Koepka's never had a top 10 at the Players' Championship. And I love how he's being defined now as a more mature Brooks Koepka, a fan-friendly Brooks Koepka. And I just kind of look at it and say, no, give me the old Brooks Koepka. I mean, we all need guys like that in sports. The old Brooks Koepka, he was, in my opinion, at one point in his career, and I don't know if we can accurately say this about anyone else who's ever played in sports in general, where you hear about taking plays off and stuff like that, and they say, well, the film doesn't lie. You can't take. Brooks Koepka could care less about the John Deere Classic. He could care less about all these events and almost gave it a half-assed attempt. But this man would turn it on for the majors. And again, just give me another guy in sports off the top of your head who was able to do something like that, turn it on, turn it off the way that Koepka did.
Jimmy Butler. You don't watch enough NBA, but he's a guy who, like, in the regular season, you would never say he's a top 25 guy.
Jimmy Buckets?
Yeah, but in the playoffs, man, he'll go off in a series.
Okay.
He'll, like, drag his team to the finals. He's done it before. Like, but yeah, Brooks, just hilarious how disrespectful he was to basically every non-major tournament.
It's just, it's very rare, but that was a big part of his personality.
But he played good today.
The kid got paid. Yeah, he's only his fourth event since coming over from the LIV, fourth PGA Tour event. And I think, a lot of people believe that if he just makes the cut, that'll be good enough for where he's at right now. But he's at even par. Scotty Scheffler is at even par as well today for Scheffler, 4 birdies and 4 bogeys. All right, let's get ready for our second hour. More on James Gladstone's press conference today, including what I asked him, and I did enjoy his answer. As always, it was very thorough. We'll recap as well if you're joining us for the first time and you did not hear what he had to say today about Brian Thomas Jr., about other members of the Jaguars, about Travis Etienne, a former member of the Jaguar, about Max Crosby. If you missed out on all of that, we'll get into it as well just after 7 o'clock.
Get Florida Gators play-by-play on 1010XL.
It's a weekend of spring baseball in the Swamp. 23rd ranked Florida and South Carolina. Friday and Saturday night and Sunday at 1 on 1010 AM.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
RJ Saunders here, sports fans, and whether it's get well roses or a be happy situation, I always call the experts at Kuhn Flowers. Sending a floral arrangement is just so easy. Log on to KuhnFlowers.com and leave it to them. Kuhn Flowers is the only name you'll ever need to know.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years. And our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
It's tournament time, and Best Bet St. Augustine has a full lineup of poker tournaments this month. Don't miss daily no-limit hold'em tournaments with buy-ins ranging from $60 to our $160 6-hour Ironman on Fridays. And don't miss the exciting $300 no-limit hold'em St. Augustine Championship with a $100,000 guarantee from March 26th through the 29th. For more information, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Hicken here, and I want to tell you about Beaches Dermatology. And my doctor, Dr. Metz. I've been going to Dr. Metz for, I don't know how many years, decades. I got the scars to prove it. Listen, Jets, I love the beach. I love to play golf. I love Florida. I love to go to my kids' games in the hot sun all weekend long. Summer is basically here, and the sun will be shining. Don't forget your sunscreen. Trust me on this. You need to go get checked out today. It's more important than you think. Give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
The Jacksonville Icemen are in town for 3 games this weekend, starting Friday for Teacher Appreciation, presented by Community First Credit Union. Then Saturday, it's Wizards Night. Wear your house colors and watch the Icemen do battle in special Wizard-themed jerseys. Then Sunday at 3, it's Publix Family Fun Day. Take a shot on goal on the ice after the game. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksonvilleIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Iceman hockey is #Sub-Zero.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Into the Night with Rick Balloon on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Day one at the Players' Championship, the 52nd overall. And the Pete Dye course playing a lot easier right now than it was, let's say, 90 minutes ago. And this has been just a day that I think the best way to describe it would be helter-skelter, okay? You're talking about 40-mile-per-hour gusts in the morning, a 21-minute rain delay just after high noon, 12:09 officially. The return to golf and more rain, okay? And it was only a 21-minute delay. It wasn't one of those typical deals where, you go back to the clubhouse, then you come out, you work on your game at the practice facility. It's not a range. It's the practice facility at the Players. And rain in and out, but right now, it looks like a classic, outstanding day in Jacksonville / Ponte Vedra Beach. I mean, it is impeccable. And I'm in the studio. I elected to be here because I just think with the television and the computer and my phone and everything working, you don't have to worry about no cell service or the computer buffering or any of that stuff. It's just much better here for me, and then hopefully for you listening. I mean, every time they show a pin flag, the wind's not even blowing. These conditions all of a sudden have become just perfect. And we now have 6 golfers. Let me find this for you here. At 5 under par. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, we have 5 golfers at 5 under par. Excuse me. The first was Maverick McNeely, who birdied 5 out of his first 12 holes. Went in today with a 5 under 67. Here's a guy who didn't make the cut a year ago. Here's a guy who a couple of years ago had a 9th place finish at 13 under. At 30 years of age out of Stanford, he has only won once on the PGA Tour. Lee Hodges comes in with birdies on 16 and 18. Again, a 5 under 67. About 30 or so minutes ago, Sepp Straka takes advantage of the par 5 16th with an eagle, and then par 17 and 18 to get in at -5. Sahith Theegala apparently was in a little bit of trouble on 18, but was able to manage par 5 under 67. Those 4 are in the clubhouse right now with 3 holes to play. He's 31 years of age. Austin Smotherman. Unbelievable. And an opportunity to become the overall leader if he can score here in one of his final 3 holes. Again, he's played 15, went off the back first, and he is 5 under par. The other big story today, Justin Thomas. How about that? After being just awful a week ago in his first opportunity to play since the Ryder Cup, okay? 79s Thursday and Friday at Bay Hill. Today, a 4 under 68. It's a really good leaderboard, and you would expect that with 47 out of the top 50 golfers in the world playing. Colin Morikawa took himself out today with a bad back. He did so on the second hole, didn't even complete it. It was officially his 11th hole, so he's out. The bad back has probably been a factor today for Rory McIlroy, who at last look was +2 with 2 holes to play. Let's see. He is just parred number 17, so he goes to 18, which is now past number 14 as the toughest hole today. Okay, it's more than a half shot over par. It had been 14 through the early wave, but now it is number 18 as the most difficult hole on this golf course. And, of course, that is the closing hole. For some today, it will be 9. In this case here for Rory McIlroy, it will be 18. And as you know, obviously on Saturday and Sunday, and if they have to go to Monday and play a 3-hole, aggregate playoff, you would have to go through number 18 as well. All right, Rory with the par. So, a +274 for Rory McIlroy is a much better golf score than the eye test. The eye test was rough, especially off the tee. He was all over the place today. And it felt like his club selection, I hope he's asked about this after the round. He wasn't bombing driver, and he's got the back, and that's an issue. He said yesterday he's hour to hour. He said yesterday would not know until he teed off. He was scheduled to go at 142, but that was pushed back a little bit because of the delay. But he was using a variety of different clubs today. The one that really stood out for me was on the par 4 4th hole, which if you've ever played the stadium course, to me, it's one of my favorite holes on the golf course. It really is. I mean, 4, 5, and 6 are all incredibly challenging. I mean, that tree hanging over number 6 now, only 28 feet high. I just don't know. And, guys like me don't play from the tips, so it doesn't really come into play. But I'm trying to remember the last time I was out there, I think the tees were behind that limb. And anyway, you've noticed that they've really teed down today, the ball much lower to the grass, and therefore trying to take the flight out of the ball. But back to Rory on number 4, man, he hooked a 2-iron. This thing went up over the mounds, over the cart path, and I thought it was going to trickle into the woods, almost to the practice facility there. But he got out of it with bogeys, and he was in danger of double bogey on 4 and on 5. And again, 3 bogeys, 1 par, and anything but his best round, certainly off the tee. He's going to be pretty happy about what he's been able to put together. And again, he could have gotten much better later in the round. I have been here and I've been watching what they show us on television. So, his back 9 could have been totally different from what I was able to witness earlier today when they spent a lot of attention on him. All right, I want to get to James Gladstone. Before I do, I'll tell you as well, an even par round for the number 1 golfer in the world. That is Scottie Scheffler, who, to his standards, has really struggled on Thursdays compared to Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Today, 4 birdies, 4 bogeys, an even par 72. In really good shape overall. He's only 5 strokes off the leader. But, I think the story here is, again, even in the rain, he went to the practice facility and sat out there and hit ball after ball after ball. The picture that I see, he's the only one out there. Now, there could be a camera angle there that was designed that way, or heck, with everything with AI and photoshopping and stuff, they could have removed others. I mean, you can't even trust still photos anymore. So I don't even know if that is 100% accurate. All right, let's get to James Gladstone. Let's give you a rundown as to what happened there. First off, he silenced the rumors on Brian Thomas Jr. Okay? His quote, "We have no interest in disrupting the momentum." He went on to say that there's been no real interest, no real trade offers. Translation, in my opinion, after being on the Zoom call, the phone has rang. The phone has rang. There's been conversations, maybe an inquiry, but with no real offer and no real interest. What I got out of this is Team X didn't say, we'll give you a first rounder, a fourth rounder. No, I don't believe that has happened. But he also put an end to it again by saying they have no interest in disrupting the momentum. So think about that for a moment. The offseason momentum apparently is good for Brian Thomas Jr. in the Miller Electric Center, or when they're actually, in the building, out of respect for NFL rules, when they are there, when they're not allowed to be there, etc. I think that's a real good thing. All right, let's play this. I asked James Gladstone as well today, if you remember, just how bizarre it was last year. I mean, Baselli's announced, then it's Liam Cohen, and a month goes by, and then it's James Gladstone. So, Gladstone comes in, and what does he have? He's got Trent Baalke's info. It's Trent Baalke's staff. It's Trent Baalke's pro personnel individuals. It's Trent Baalke's scouts, college scouts, NFL scouts. You got to put it all together, in a flash, and then evaluate and think of all the players they brought in last year in free agency. I also went on to ask him, not to mention, 6 weeks from tonight is the NFL draft. It's only 42 days away. How much have things changed for James Gladstone, considering where he was a year ago, to now being able to assemble his people under him this year?
Yeah, I think last year there was a lot of translation and comparison. Not everybody speaking the same language and trying to bridge that gap. This year, it's very seamless. Dialogue is, on the same plane, and it allows for, when communication's operating at a high tick, it allows decisions to, unfold in a way that you would, feel really confident in because of that, right? There's clarity that comes with that. So there's a lot of energy that I look back on a year ago that was applied to bridging the gap, and, a lot of parallel modes of operation that were being brought together. But this is now a situation where everybody's walking down the same track. So that allows it to be a little bit more efficient.
When communication is clicking at a high tick, it's like you and I, Aaron Williams, when you and I are on the same page.
I would agree. It's kind of like Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah, but they didn't like each other, or so we were told. Pippen and Jordan didn't like it. I don't think Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth liked each other.
I'm sure they respected each other, their ability, what they could do on the court together. I mean, when they were together, they were unstoppable.
They really were. No doubt about it. How you doing? You were on the other side in the first hour. JJ stayed in with us. What a crazy day. I know you've been able to keep up somewhat with the golf and with James Gladstone, but, man, that weather went from just absolutely atrocious to almost impeccable throughout this Thursday.
Typical Florida. It can be sunshine and rainbows, and then a storm could come in 2 minutes, and then it could be sunshine and rainbows again. But no, overall, it's a good day. I got a chance to look at a bit of the players. Again, just getting into golf and everything. Once the weather finally opened up, it was a beautiful day. It looked like a good turnout overall.
Let's come back. Let's give you more on the Players Championship. And as I say that, now a bogey by Austin Smotherman. So he was one of 5 golfers at 5 under par. He is now back down to 4 under as he bogeyed the par 4 7th hole. He still has the par 3 8th and the par 5 9th coming in. So an opportunity, again, to get it at -5, maybe even -6, if he could go back-to-back with birdies. So we'll do that, the very latest. And then I got much more from James Gladstone. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start with that when we return. I'm going to give you it all. Everything that Gladstone did say today, and there was a lot. And I thought it was a very productive opportunity to hear from the general manager. It's funny because you and I last night mentioned it. I was like, will we hear from him when they had only signed one guy off the street or from another organization, or will that not come until their pre-draft conversation? And he spoke today, and he had a lot to say. So let's begin with that. Latest on James Gladstone of the Jags and what the general manager said. And, of course, we'll keep you updated on the Players' Championship.
It's the First Coast's biggest event of the year. The Players' Championship. Track your favorite golfers and get live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teed up by G&H Tire Service, Michelob Ultra, and Sawgrass Asset Management on 1010XL.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Gators in the morning, Florida for lunch, a late night Gator snack. Whenever you're ready, the Gator Podcast channel is too. Set up by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Did you know that an annual coating inspection can extend the life of your building by years? Catching early signs like hairline cracks, fading, and moisture intrusion helps prevent costly repairs down the road and keeps your property looking its best. Our team at Performance Painting helps you stay ahead of maintenance with professional inspections and long-lasting coating solutions. Protect your building, protect your budget. Go to performance-painting.com to schedule a free inspection. Performance Painting, repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting!
They just busted a man in our town with a 30-pound bag of hamster bones on him. And my buddy's like, what'd they charge him with? I'm like, with working for Satan, brother. The dude had 30 pounds of hamster bones. The ivory of Arkansas.
From his Netflix special, Regular People, comedian Theo Vaughn's Return to the Rat Tour. 3 shows, Friday and Saturday, March 13th and 14th at Florida Theater. Get tickets now at theovaughn.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Bro, have you heard about the hottest and newest sports league in town?
Vanguard Sports League isn't just VIP, it's the standard. Smoke-filled tunnel intros, cool benches with canopies, big scoreboards, championship rings, and convenient locations all across Jacksonville. Oh, and Mascot Potty's there hyping everyone up every game. No wonder it's the talk of the town. Spring and summer registration now open.
Search
4 golfers at 5 under now, all in the clubhouse. 67. 4 golfers at 5 under now, all in the clubhouse. 67s today. Across the board, Sepp Straka, the latest to get to -5. Sagith Tagala at 5 under 67. Lee Hodges and Maverick McNeely moments ago. A bogey by Austin Smotherman, who had it at -4. He still has number 8 and number 9 to play, so an opportunity to pick up a stroke there and join the leaders. All right, my name's Rick Ballou with you tonight till 8 o'clock. Let's get to James Gladstone, who had a Zoom press conference today with the local media. Let's begin with his newest addition, Chris Rodriguez Jr., who, I mean, last night was one of the most enjoyable shows I've done in a while because it felt like we learned about this guy on the fly. And unless you're a deep fantasy league football player, you probably didn't know a lot about him. Many here knew more about him, in his days. Who was the other back? Ray Davis out of Kentucky. Was that it? Or am I thinking of Ray Davies, the former, or still, if they ever decide to get back together, singer and guitarist with the Kinks? By the way, I noticed Derek and Susan are out. The Tedeschi Trucks band is out, and they have as their soundboard the old Kinks soundboard, which is like a small spaceship, and it's pretty incredible at his house and his whole studio, which is just out of this world. They're playing for 2 weeks at the Beacon Theater. I also saw that they're going to open for the Eagles on a Saturday night in May at Jerry's World. So a stadium show, Tedeschi Trucks, and then the Eagles. That's coming up not too far from now. He's a huge Jags fan. He's a huge Seminole fan. Chris Rodriguez, anyway, and the thing I loved about it is that when Gladstone starts talking about Rodriguez, he says that the superpowers that he taps into is how physical he is, the ability to run the ball, including inside. Also got deep into, not deep into, but the relationship of Liam Cohen, who was the offensive coordinator at Kentucky when Rodriguez was there. Gladstone also went on to say how he wanted to level up the running game. And he mentioned all of the backs, including DJ Davis. He obviously mentioned Tootin. He mentioned LaQuint Allen Jr. He mentioned Jackson, who was on the practice squad all of last year. Remember, he showed some pretty good things in camp, did the big back. I would think on the depth chart right now, he's, 4 or 5, but we'll see what ends up happening. James Gladstone today also, and I see that some of this is viral now by some of these kind of bogus entities that are on Twitter, probably the same people that kept on saying that Brian Thomas Jr. was going to get traded, and he absolutely put an end to that today. I've said it at least 3 times already on the program, but I do understand that in the world of radio, especially all the people leaving the players, that you're getting this for the first time. But his quote was, "We have no interest in disrupting the momentum." So I took that as it's been a good offseason so far for Brian Thomas Jr. And that's a huge deal about getting him ready mentally. I thought he improved in the second half of the season, but certainly you want him to be where he was as a rookie, once things get underway here later throughout the course of the 2026 offseason. He went on to really talk about the compensatory picks. What are you talking about, Baloo? The Jaguars you look at the lack of compensatory picks that this franchise has had over the decades. It's staggering. And for those of you who don't know, and I'm not being facetious here, because it's almost never happened, when you lose a high-quality free agent and you don't replace him with a high-quality free agent, you're going to get compensatory draft picks. And right now, Jacksonville is scheduled to get 3 for Etienne, Lloyd, and for Greg Newsome. So he went on to talk about draft capital and the ability to do this, do that. And, here's a guy with the draft 6 weeks from tonight, albeit Jacksonville doesn't have a first-round pick. Doesn't mean they can't move up. They have 11 picks overall, including 4 in the top 100. What is it? 56, 81, 88, and 100. But already to get into next year and, think about these selections there. So he did that. He talked about Devin Lloyd's impact on this team. didn't really address the fact as to whether or not there was an offer. I'm under the impression there was not. I'm under the impression that they just knew he was moving on, that it's a replaceable position. You can draft and place a guy, one of the 4 picks that I just mentioned. I think one thing we've seen in the early return of free agency, especially with re-signing some of your own, including Buster Brown, is that you don't need to use a high pick now for either running back or cornerback. Let's just eliminate those. I'm not saying they're not going to draft guys at those positions later in the draft, but I think if you're realistic, you're looking at 56 and you're looking at the 3 third-round picks, and your feeling is, okay, are they starters or are they big role players? My math says they've only lost 3 of their top 24. That's my math. And again, depth charts go double tight, 3 wide receivers on offense, so it's 12, not 11. When you look at a depth chart, defensively, they go base defense, plus they add a nickel back, so you have 12 on that side. That's 12 plus 12. That's 24. Lloyd, Etienne, and Dewey. That's 21 of your 24 coming back. And then you start to mention guys like Ransaw and Ventrell Miller and Jack Kaiser. And then you start to mention guys like Wyatt Milam. Can he kick someone off that offensive line? And there could be more attrition. I mean, they could say goodbye to Patrick McCarry, even though they redid his deal recently. I'd be surprised now if they did it. They could cut Eric Armstead and recoup that money. I don't know, but I'm just looking at where they are here today in mid-March. So I think it's a better roster. I think they're in better shape. And you got Kaiser. He also mentioned Branson Combs today. Okay. This guy who hasn't gotten a lot of play. Very good, very good, as far as guys that didn't get any recognition. You look at the BJ Greens and the Danny Strigaus. I think it's time to put Branson Combs in there as well. Absolutely. So, said all the right things about Lloyd, but he's gone. And, basically moved on from that point. Max Crosby, no real interest, no real dialogue. Travis Etienne, they kept in constant communication with his reps. They knew he was going to get a big offer. They're happy that he got that offer. The conversations continued, but in my opinion, it's much like the off-the-ball linebacker of Devin Lloyd. This organization feels like they already have guys in-house, or they can get guys like Rodriguez last night. They can get guys in the NFL draft who can replace him. These are 2 high-priced football players at realistically speaking, very important football positions. Where do you rank an off-the-ball linebacker? Where do you rank a running back? I mean, seriously, where do you rank them? I'm going QB, left tackle, defensive end, corner, right tackle. That's 5. Wide receiver, 6. Okay. What about the interior defensive line? They were number 1 against the run, but they couldn't get a pass rush. After what you saw Seattle do? Isn't a pass rush with your front 4 more important than a outside linebacker? I think it is. Matter of fact, I think the only positions, and I say this with all due respect because it's a brutal game, I think the only positions on the football field that you could say rank lower than a running back and an outside linebacker would be a safety, a guard, a tight end. They're all up for argument. They really are. But there's no way that those 2 positions are at the top. It's not even close. They're just not. Unless you have someone that is just spectacular, then that's different. And Etienne's a phenomenal player, but, he's not Bijan Robinson. He's not Gibbs. He's not Saquon Barkley. He's not. Outside linebacker, okay. And Lloyd played well for 1 year. He played well in a contract year in a new scheme. I think he could be a disaster in Carolina in a 3-4 defense. I hope it's not the case because I really like him personally. He's a nice young man. Same with Etienne. They're both really good human beings, and they got paid. So that's basically what James Gladstone had to say today. And we appreciate the fact that he made himself available. Of course, he does so guys like me can listen to him, ask questions, and then we can take and send the message back to you, Jags fans. Coming up next, let's take a look at the money. Where's it going? Our buddy Rafael Esparza, and of course, much more as far as an update from the first round at the Players.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Don't miss the music of ELO. The Orchestra, with former members of Electric Light Orchestra. Catch all the hits March 18th at Florida Theater. The Orchestra. Get tickets now at floridatheater.com.
All right, Jacksonville, spring has officially arrived when the pollen's flying, the grass is growing, and your septic system starts thinking about getting your attention. Trust me, a simple pump out now can save you from a disaster that'll have the whole neighborhood holding their noses. That's why you call Duck Duck Rooter the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. Real pros, not somebody guessing with a shovel. Right now, schedule your spring septic clean and get $50 off septic tank pumping. So when you're stuck, call the Duck, 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Fred Taylor. If you've been in an auto accident, you need a team who knows how to get you back on your feet and back to your life. At North Florida Medical Center, they don't just treat the injury, they treat the whole person, from physical therapy to pain management. North Florida Medical Center has a team of experts ready to help you heal and recover. I trust the team here at North Florida Medical Center, and you can too. So don't wait. Call North Florida Medical Center and get the care you deserve.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Julington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Next time you head into a Gate convenience store, look for Form Energy Drink, designed to provide energy, hydration, and focus, straight from Dana White and AB, celebrating those who embrace grit, discipline, and resilience in their everyday lives. Check out Form Energy at a Gate convenience store.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
I'm going to go with a golden moment today with Maverick McNeely, who birdied 5 out of his first 12 holes. And again, at the age of 30, he has won once on the PGA Tour. That was over at St. Simons. And here's a guy who did not make the cut a year ago, yet 2 years ago, had a 9th place finish at 13 under par. His dad sold a multi-billion-dollar company years back. I think he collected $7.8 billion on the transaction. So it's been a tough road for Maverick McNeely. He had to get through Stanford, and he is now chasing the white ball around the Players and consistently playing on the Players, or in this case, at the Players Championship. All right, presently we have, well, Smotherman with a birdie now on number 8. So we have 4 golfers in at minus 567. Smotherman with a hole to play, which will be the par 5 9th hole since he went off the back. He is at 5 under. He is your on-course leader right now at the Players.
Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Not busy day in the NFL is way. Kyler Murray, 1-year deal in Minnesota. They only pay 1.3 out of the $36.8 million that is owed to him by Arizona. Also, a lot of talk here in town about Jonathan Allen. Not a lot of talk, but some to come in and play defensive tackle. He signs a 2-year deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's bring in our buddy Rafael Esparza. Rafael, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Everything is great. All right. I got to imagine the books made a ton of money the other night when USA Baseball lost.
Yes, they did. They were minus 2,500. The run line was minus 5.5.
Wow. Now, I mean, we saw, when it's the World Cup or even with the Olympic Games, it was both USA and Canada, but what was it like at the window? How many people really get into baseball now, considering the regular season begins in about 2.5 weeks?
You would think with the lineup that USA had, we would get tons of action, but we don't. And it's kind of sad because I talk to people overseas, like in the England books and Ireland and all that. They're getting more action than we were. I just don't understand why our baseball players are not like our hockey players, like our World Cup players who are excited to put that USA jersey on. Baseball players, we've seen it with Screwball, only wants to pitch a couple of innings and he wants to leave. We've seen it with the Chicago Cubs pitchers. He left already. I just don't understand their mindset, and that's the reason why I think they're in that situation that we're in.
All right, what about presently? What has happened? What has changed? What are the latest as far as odds?
Now that USA's in, they're still going to be the favorite, but I don't like them. I mean, I don't like their lineup. They're not really hitting as well. It would not shock me if Japan or Puerto Rico win it all.
Yeah, what an embarrassment. I've always liked DeRosa. I like him as a broadcaster. I liked him as a second baseman, but boy, did he really make a mistake. I think this is a very poor reflection on the United States and how they put this together, considering the importance we just saw a month ago with the USA hockey team, both hockey teams winning the gold.
Well, isn't it really ironic that Canada can beat us in baseball and knock us out?
That is a good point. All right, 10 years later for Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, also Francis Ngannou's going to fight. What do you make of these MMA events that are getting ready to come up here in about a month and a couple of days? How's the money gone on what I think are gimmick fights?
These are gimmick fights, but I can guarantee you they're probably going to be more viewed than the White House card, which I think is a train wreck. How do you have a White House card and not have a name, a big name? I know some of these fighters are in there are names, but they're not a John Jones. They're not a Conor McGregor. They're not a Dustin Poirier. Someone that's going to pump up U.S. freedom fights or whatever you want to call them. So I think the Ronda Rousey, Carano, and Francis Ngannou, they have names. You have a Ronda Rousey name that's going to be, it's not an octagon. I don't know what kind of ring they have on there. She's a minus $5 favorite, but I think the fans are going to be into this because not only do you get a Ronda Rousey, but you get to see a Francis Ngannou as well.
Yeah, and, at the White House, Topuria fought here a couple of years ago. I want to say it was the same card that had Chimaev, and I noticed that the numbers just came in on a fight that he's going to be a part of as well coming up here this summer. Boy, those two are recognizable to me, but man, they really are lacking the huge names right now, aren't they?
Yeah, and I know the MMA fans, UFC fans will rip me apart when I say that, but you trying to tell me when Brock Lesnar was at his prime, Ronda Rousey was at his prime, Conor McGregor was at his prime, that's when UFC was up there in the echelons. Right now, they're not.
All right, Miami of Ohio gets knocked out by the University of Massachusetts. Any other big-time upsets that not only have happened here during conference tournament games, but could be something that really affects them moving into the NCAA tournament?
I think we have to keep an eye out for the Mountain West. If San Diego State, Colorado State, one of those two teams, or New Mexico win it all, that can knock out a team that we thought that could be in, like an Auburn or a Miami of Ohio, which right now I have them in a play-in tournament. So keep an eye out for schools like that can knock out a team that we may think that's in, but we have to put a spot in at someone that won their conference tournament.
All right, leave us with the players. They're completing the first round. How was the money this week for what many consider, the fifth major? 47 of the top 50 players in the world are here.
I was just happy that you guys didn't get that much weather today, which according like on Monday, it was supposed to be rainy all day on Thursday for the players. I'm glad it wasn't like that, and I'm kind of mad that Maekawa withdrew because he did go for the first hole. So normally that would say, hey, he did play, but we did refund everybody. So for me, the players tournament has not started off well because they've already had a refund money that normally we don't, but the people complain all the time about refunds.
Now, not everyone does that. Correct?
Not everyone does that. I heard a couple books that would not mention names that did not refund because he did go to the first hole. He did tee off, and that's in the rules.
Yeah, teed off 10 and couldn't complete 11. So it's 1.5 holes, and that is it for Collin Morikawa. All right, Rafael, tell us about the website. Tell us about your show.
Just put up brand new odds for where Max Crosby is going to be, put a jersey on next year. And I also have Willie wear a Raiders jersey at all next year. Yes is minus, or no is minus $3. So that article's up. You can go to the BTT Studio Substack.
All right. Rafael, always a pleasure. Next week will be just a bonanza of stuff going on with 16 games in the NCAA tournament. Always a lot of fun. Thank you.
Take it easy. Have a great day.
There he goes. So alloftheodds.com, you can get everything there from Rafael Esparza. I've got a ton here on your text line. I got a ton here on social media. I just haven't had a chance to get to you. It's so busy today, and I love being busy. As we head to this break, we have 5 golfers at 5 under par. Okay, 4 of which are in the clubhouse. McNeely, Hodges, Straka, and Tagala. Austin Smotherman has a hole to play. That is the par 5 9th hole. He is at 5 under par as well. Much more to do. It's great to have you with us. Rick Ballou tonight till 8 o'clock.
1010XL. Home of the Florida Gators.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Every joint in the body was designed for movement. Inactivity can cause stiffness, weakness, weight gain, and decrease in overall balance. So you should strive for at least 30 minutes a day of exercises that promote flexibility like yoga, strengthening with weights, and cardiovascular fitness like walking, swimming, or biking. The more you move, the better you will feel and your overall health will benefit. Let's get healthy, Jax. Go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville. Jacksonville is thinking teal, and so are Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. It's Jaguars Today, breaking down everything Jags and NFL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Weekdays 10 to noon on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Get ready for Men at Work. And Toad the Wet Sprocket. Live in concert. Friday, July 17th, St. Augustine Amphitheater with Shonen Knife. Get tickets now at AXS.com. Don't miss Men at Work and Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster, the Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings, and creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher, only at Firehouse Subs.
La playa is Spanish for the beach. If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, La Playa awaits.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Want to show off that backyard flex? Purple Heart Pools, a veteran-owned pool company right here in Jacksonville, is offering a brand new custom pool and spa package for a flat $75,000. All in, no bait, no switch. You heard that right. Only $75,000 for a custom pool and spa. Now's the time to break ground. Game days, summer nights, and neighborhood envy included. Schedule a free consultation today at purpleheartpools.com. Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran pool company.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911. GarageDoor911.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, first round is over at the Players' Championship, and if I'm looking at this accurately, looks like Austin Smotherman did not get an opportunity to complete his first round because of darkness. Seems like just about everyone else is in. Perhaps it isn't an updated score. I do see a few others who are on 17 or, excuse me, who are on either 18 or number 9. So considering what happened this morning, if 119 of the 123 actually completed their round, that's a good day because, my goodness, it looks scary early in the morning. So here we are as we bring in Hacker Nation. Right now, it is Maverick McNeely, Lee Hodges, Sepp Straka, and Sahith Theegala at -5. And again, as far as what I have here, Austin Smotherman is at 500 as well. He still has the par 5 ninth hole to complete.
Amazing stuff. I'll tell you this. Last night when I was talking about the players, I did a whole segment on Maverick McNeely and Lee Hodges. So I need to call your folks out in Vegas because, boy, if you had Lee Hodges like I did, you're in good shape right now.
Did you see the video of this morning with the wind and everything around 17?
Yeah.
And then what it's been like for the last 3 hours?
Now, you're more the golf guy than I am. So I was thinking about this earlier. How do they decide Thursday morning compared to Thursday afternoon tee times? Obviously, the ones that go in the morning today go in the afternoon tomorrow. Is it a draw? How do they do that?
It's a great question, and I've never really gotten into early late or late early or front back compared to how they actually put together the pairings.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
The people that went this morning were at a big disadvantage to those that went this afternoon.
No doubt. And that's what's really remarkable about Maverick McNeely. I mean, he had to sit through the 40-mile-an-hour winds, then the very brief rain delay, which was only 21 minutes long. But if you look at Hodges, Straka, Theegala, and Smotherman, they're posting scores all coming in very late when things really began to calm down. I mean, I'm here, so I can't see everything that's happening, but all you have to do is look at the pin flags. I mean, the wind wasn't even moving them. It's pretty amazing. It's a great question. I don't honestly know how that works. Some of it with the pairings is obviously for TV, but whether you go early Thursday and late Friday or, late Thursday, early Friday, I honestly don't know.
We've obviously had the Craig Perkses of the world, the Siwoo Kims before he was a household name, Stephen Ames, I guess, to an extent. The guys that are kind of off the beaten path for the casual golf fan. You look at this leaderboard right now. Is this good for the players, or do you need some of the guys to kind of make a run tomorrow to get some more names on this leaderboard heading into the weekend?
Well, they will, and you got 47 of the top 50 who were there, and Colin Morikawa took himself out, so now let's go to 46 out of the top 50. But like everything else in sports, it's the month of March, and you hear about Cinderellas. You got guys right now who posted 67s. They're not going to be there at the end of the day tomorrow. No. They're certainly not going to be there after moving day on Saturday. Now, Sepp Straka is a guy that I can see who remains up there. Maverick McNeely has been all over the place. I mean, he finished 9th 2 years ago, didn't even make the cut, and was around for the weekend a year ago. I always look at a guy like Steve Elkington, who, Steve Elkington had a nice career. He won a PGA championship. He had some top 20s, some top 10s. I think he won 8 or 9 times on the PGA Tour, but he won here twice. Mm-hmm. And he was such a good iron player. I remember the first event I ever covered in 1997. It was incredibly windy, and he hit such a low ball and wasn't a big power guy, but was able to keep his golf ball not as high as others, and really took advantage of that. So, I've talked about this forever. This is a golf shots golf course. You have to use every single club in your bag, and iron play is mammoth in an event like this. So we'll see. I'm sure you got all that. What else?
Yeah, a lot of players talk tonight, and a couple of your former colleagues. Mike DeCourcy of the Sporting News is going to join me tonight to do a little Selection Sunday talk. And Scott Jackson up in Virginia Beach. Scott Jackson, formerly of The Ball here in Jacksonville. He's on the Commander Radio Network. We'll get the 411, the info on new Jaguar running back Chris Rodriguez.
Have a blast.
Thanks, Rick.
I remember when I first went to Chicago, the first thing I did was the March Madness special with Mike DeCourcy, longtime college basketball writer with the Sporting News, and the coach killer, Peter Brown. And I was a tad bit nervous. But that was then. I'm still nervous now. I'm just back here in good old Duval. All right, I'll see you Friday out at the Players, at least for the morning. Thank you to Rick Shoemaker. Thank you to Rafael Esparza. What a day. Thank you to James Gladstone as well for taking time out to speak to us. Enjoy it. Drive safe if you're heading home from the Players. I'll see you out there Friday, and I'll talk with you next tomorrow at 6 o'clock.